We are the hardcore people in the industry. We actually care about our industry. We are not transactional people. You know what a transactional agent is? Let me explain it to you this way. Who generates the listing? The listing agent does. Do you know how much work goes behind the scene to bring a house to the market?
It's the
agent's job to educate the client and manage their expectations and not let them stand in their own way and sabotage their own purchase.
You see this energy, guys? I'm feeling it right now.
Why don't the industry feel this way?
The reason is because not a lot of agents, there's 1.5 million real estate agents in the country.
Right.
How many of them do business? 20%, right? Out of that 20%, we know the actual percentage of who sells the property. Hold on, wait for it, right? not all the agents are able to afford to go into a listing and say, I don't want this listing.
Then why are they guiding people? Learn to give the right advice.
Welcome back to Let's Talk About It, your favorite mortgage advisor, Jimmy Mortgage. Today, I'm here with two absolute professionals, PJ from Keller Williams and Arthur from Guarantee Rate Affinity. Today, we're going to be talking about what's going on with the market and some of the platforms that are not giving us or giving clients what they're looking for when it comes for answers on home ownership. Mm-hmm. And of course, we have a person who believes, not a person, a professional, who believes that Zillow sucks. So we're gonna say, okay, why? Give me the reason. So I'm gonna ask you, PJ, let's talk about Zillow. What's up with it?
Okay, so where should we start with this? How far do you want me to go?
It depends. Whatever you feel like it's important, you talk about it.
Okay, so since I started 25 years ago.
Okay.
So I'll go back to 25 years ago.
Before
when
Zillow
none
sucks.
of this existed.
Okay.
Okay. And when life was in control.
Right.
We actually connected with people.
Right.
We wrote 6 contracts in person,
right,
across the table.
Mm-hmm.
We went over every term and condition in person and took everybody in our cars, drove them around, sent them addresses, sent them listings, sent them comps. Everything was contained.
Right.
Then came Zillow, right? And what happened was initially we were very excited. We said, wow, this is great. Because before that, there was no way to showcase our production.
Right.
You see, like all the properties I sold, people had no clue what I sold, right? So if they got referred to me, they didn't know exactly my history, my experience, my knowledge. So initially we took it in a very positive way and we were extremely excited and we said, wow, this is great. People will be able to see and select their agents accordingly.
Right.
You know, the start of everything is great. What happens after that? So, I mean, everything was kind of fine. I think up to pandemic and all of that, pandemic market was one way. And then what happened? Their model shifted to totally, what do you call it? Pay for play?
Pay for play. Okay.
Pay for play.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So that is involved, but to be fair, that was happening before Zillow, though, right?
Not exactly, not to that extent.
Okay.
Okay. So there would be some local agents, like some of us, like the offices joined and they said this is going to be a premier account. You had an account through Coldwell Banker or through whichever agency you were working with.
Are you saying Zillow did a baited switch on you?
They did a lot of things.
All right, so let me ask you. Okay.
That is only one thing.
So we're gonna hold right there. So Zillow, yes, there are some things that I prefer that they would do better, especially for us when it comes to lenders. So I'm gonna ask Arthur, what do you think about Zillow? Because it's a big topic, right? It shows off our reviews. It talks about our credibility. It shows our volume. It shows what we've done and how we've helped others get into homes, right? So can you dive in a little bit of what you think about Zillow?
So I actually don't think about Zillow.
That's a good.
This doesn't come into my environment. The biggest question comes up to us is the Zestimate.
Right.
And over the years, the consumers will come to us because Zillow is a marketing website. That's really all it does.
Correct.
It's a marketing website.
Right.
And there's a Zestimate, and the Zestimate is supposed to say, well, this house is worth X.
Right.
And we've actually taken that Zestimate compared to an actual appraisal, which is what a lender does. And then we saw the numbers, and the numbers didn't align at all. Because Zillow gives you a disclosure. The value could be plus or minus 8 to 10% of what the Zestimate is.
Right.
Plus, we as a lender have our own model. Our model is better. It's proprietary, but it's our model in terms of value up to a certain amount.
Right.
So the question, Zillow exists, wonderful. It is there to allow people to, first of all, it has a lending website, and I hate the format. Most people hate the format, right? Because that whole pop-up, there's too much pop-up, right? It's very busy. But consumers were trained to go to that website because they were the first at the top of the list.
Right.
Now there's an internal, we know that there's internal battles. I'm not going to name names,
Right.
but one of the companies that I'm associated with, right? It is certainly, there's a battle in courts about the data that exists on Zillow. Where does it come from? Who owns that data? That's the biggest conversation. Right. And I deal with that every single day in terms of PII, personally identifiable information, privacy that I deal with every single day. That's protected information should not be out there. So do I worry about Zillow? No, but at the same time, we've all paid them and we didn't really get the results.
So
Right,
before you go into that, right? So one of the things that we see, right, as mortgage advisors, right, we work with partners, and sometimes within compliant, they'll say, hey, look, if I'm getting X amount of leads from this,
Yep.
would you love to partner with me?
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Right, and we see that, and some of us, depending on where we at with our performance, will dive into that. Unfortunately, sometimes the return is not what we think it's going to be.
I've
right?
never converted.
I'm glad you're
Never
saying
converted
that.
from
I'm
Zillow.
glad you're saying
Right,
that.
and I'm going to make that transition to you. So, what makes Arthur different from when you hear someone say that? You're like, nah, I got a good partner right here, Arthur. We don't rely on Zillow. This is what we do. We go back to the basics in building that for our clients.
See, we are the hardcore people in the industry. We actually care about our industry. We are not transactional people. You know what a transactional agent is? Like,
I'll let you tell it.
Let me explain it to you this
Go
way.
ahead,
So,
sure.
who generates a listing? The listing agent does. Do you know how much work goes behind the scene to bring a house to the market?
Let's
A lot,
talk about it.
A lot. Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
You see,
There's a lot that goes into it. You have to prep
who
it.
owns that client?
Right.
I do. It's my client.
Right.
I'm doing what I have to do for my client because
Right.
I'm a fiduciary.
Okay.
All right. So what has Zillow done? What is Zillow doing to it? Right. It takes my listing. Okay. It doesn't allow me to. It doesn't show me because if I'm not paying them for my presence is not there. You see, there is no contact. The button is there. Now they have put it recently. In between, they had even eliminated our names. Now they put a name back, but with an office number.
Right.
And when they call the office number, the office is closed after hours. It's a generic phone number.
Right.
Right. Zillow has my cell phone number. They call me on my cell phone day and night, asking me to join premium, join flex, all of that.
Right.
But when you put me online, you don't put my number there, so people can't reach me directly. And when people, even if I get an email from somebody, right, directly saying I'm a seller, I'm a buyer who's interested in looking at your listing,
Right.
they'll get called by 5 of their Zillow Flex or premium agents, right? The consumer who's calling has no idea who they are speaking to. And you know what I would like Zillow to do? The fine print. Make this the first page and see who calls who.
Yeah,
Please disclose. Because the consumer doesn't read fine. Nobody. Do you read a fine print item?
No.
Right? What if that fine print was published first before the client clicked on the next page?
So they wouldn't get the traffic they're looking for.
But then why would they not get the traffic they're looking for? Then they shouldn't get the traffic at all.
So
right? By disclosing who they are, they don't get the traffic. That means by not disclosing who they are, they're getting the traffic.
And there you have it. You see her passion for why Zillow
Yes,
sucks.
because,
is
listen,
real. And you can't make it up. That said, I'm not going to give Zillow the attention they need because they already have enough attention, and we're trying to go against that. But to your point, what sets you apart from those who rely on Zillow? Before we jump back into it, let me share something with you. Recently, I worked with someone who thought they only had one mortgage option. After taking the time and understanding their goal, we found a strategy better than expected. This is why I love what I do. Everybody's situation is different, and every mortgage should be built around the person, not the other way around. If you would like to have that same conversation, schedule a mortgage strategy session using the link in my show notes. Now let's get back to the show.
Because I have talent, I have skill.
Okay.
I can find a seller, find a buyer, have a following, and people can be loyal to me without me going out there and paying money to buy somebody who doesn't know who the heck I am.
Okay. So
How bizarre is that?
So
They're not working with me because I'm a good agent or I'm a talented agent or I'm a skilled agent. Okay. They're only working with me because they went on some portal, clicked on a button, somebody connected them to some agent. Okay. Now they think that's what the industry is about.
Would you say a lot of your skill set that you provide is from your anthropology ways?
No, I created it myself.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yes.
She created
You
it
have to
herself.
learn.
So this-
You
wait,
have
wait,
to
wait,
learn
wait,
everything yourself.
You have to so
See, the
when you learn-
difference between me and a Zillow agent is I create my business. I don't buy it. I don't rent it. I own it.
Okay, fair enough.
Organic.
But-
It's an
yeah,
organic
yeah,
It's
business.
an organic
organic
business.
business, yes.
If
So-
anybody who comes to me, they're not coming because I'm paying anyone. Author is not my lender because he's paying me anything.
Okay.
Nobody's paying me anything. I'm only interested in people who are talented and who do the right thing by the client, by the consumer.
By the consumer. So
Right?
is it fair to say most of your clients do not come from this platform?
Absolutely, 100% not.
Oh, okay. So how do you source your clients, right? Because what we're trying to provide
I
here.
build a clientele.
You build a
why?
clientele.
Why is this industry not taught how to build a long-lasting clientele?
So
Why are people not taught how to create an attraction-based business?
fair enough. So let me ask you this question.
Knowledge-based business, wisdom-based business, guidance-based business, consulting. Why is it all scaling and why is it all climbing and leveraging and these words winning, losing? The consumer? Who a consumer? Where is the consumer in all of this nonsense?
Okay, fair enough. But let me ask you a question, right?
Yeah.
You mentioned that because of your skill set, you're able to, deliver
Yes.
for your clients,
Yes.
right? I would like to ask you this question. Is there one or two things you can sprinkle a little bit of a blueprint of what you're doing? Because one of the things that I've seen and I've learned even from Arthur when we were working together, I watched some of the things that he did and I'm like, okay, you know what? I need to incorporate that. So if you can just drop one or two things that you feel
See,
can give
for your
to-
competition. Why don't you tell your
You know,
competition?
you know
No,
my-
no. But competition. At the end of the day, you're gonna get your client.
Right.
I don't think.
You know, my favorite
the-
subject is anthropology and psychology.
Yeah, I found out.
Right? And I
found-
combine those two things when I talk to people.
Right.
Right? Here is what you don't understand. Okay? When I go to a seller, I'm really not interested in the listing. I'm just meeting them to see what's going on with them.
You
What's
interviewing
their
them.
game
You
plan
interviewing
like?
them, right?
I don't walk in with a CMA. I'm just walking in to see who they are, what they want, what the house looks like, what can I do or not do with it.
Right.
Can I push the price up by correcting few things in the house? Can I cosmetically enhance it? What can I do so I can make these people do the best that they can for the land that they own? That's
Wow.
a fiduciary. Okay, rest is all nonsense.
You see this energy, guys? I'm feeling it right now.
Well, then why don't the industry feel this way?
Because
Because
it's a chase.
Why
It's a
are you
it's a
taught to
money-
chase?
PJ,
Why are you taught to
I will
chase a
tell you-
bone?
I will tell you why. The reason is because not a lot of agents, there's 1.5 million real estate agents in the country.
Right.
How many of them do business? 20%, right? Out of that 20%, we know the actual percentage of who sells the properties. Hold on, wait for it. Right? not all the agents are able to afford to go into a listing and say, I don't want this listing.
Then why are they guiding people?
Who's they?
Why are the agents? How are they?
It's the
in
dollar
lead?
chase. Welcome to America. We're chasing the
No,
mighty
but-
dollar.
but
What is
then-
the Zillow
but
doing?
then-
Chasing the dollar.
But
That's the
that
same
is
thing,
why
right?
that is where, as an industry, we are going wrong. That we are chasing
Well,
the
it's
freaking
too
dollar.
easy
This
to be in the
industry was
business.
made for one purpose only, so people don't get taken advantage of. That's what a fiduciary is.
Correct.
Right.
Okay.
Correct.
It's the same thing in my business as well.
And that's
We're-
what
we're
a
heavily
consumer. That's
regulated.
why we are there for the consumer because we understand
saw
what
this-
getting taken
PJ,
advantage
we saw this
of.
happen in 2000 and I'm not holding you. You've been in business, so 05, 06, 07.
Yes, of
you were
course.
delivering pizza one day, and next day you were doing mortgages. All right, because under somebody else's license. Then rules changed, regulations changed, and people fell out. We're not seeing that in real estate
Arthur,
space yet.
do
It's
you
too easy to get a license.
Wait, So Arthur, to piggyback off of what you just said, right? We're not seeing that because we had the CFPB jump in when the market changed, and we had
We've had all sorts of regulation. The
Right.
SAFE Act of
Wait,
2012.
hold on. We're
This
gonna
did
come back
not
to that.
happen in real estate.
So do
it's
you-
still really easy to be a real estate agent. It's expensive to continue to be one,
Right.
but it's easy to become
Then
one.
why are they there if they don't want to invest in themselves?
Because
Some do. Some do.
Some do. So
Okay, well-
here's the thing. I'm not going to label the entire industry. What I'm going to say is this. Many love short-term wins. And they'll
That's
do-
what it is all about.
Well, for some. It's not for you, right?
There are good people. There are good agents.
Absolutely.
But to amplify to what Arthur is saying, there hasn't been much of a compliance for some agents to adhere to. So when you put something in front of them and you have a skill to close it within weeks, not months, and you don't have to do as much, you're going to take the shortcut. Where you two professionals are not looking at that. You guys are looking
The
at
we have to defend the
reputation.
reputation.
You have to
Reputation is more important.
Because here it is. Us three right here, when we are doing what we do because we love it.
We are passionate.
We're-
No, don't love it.
Very
Love
passionate.
is underrated.
Yeah,
I'm passionate.
PJ's very passionate.
Yes.
That, as you can see.
Absolutely.
Right. So that said, but when we look at everything, right, we're looking at the legacy of what we provide, right? It's a community build. So, we take it for what it is and we build off of that. Now, this is what capitalism is all about. You may not like what the other one is doing to get to that. But no, hear me out. You may not like it, but maybe what they're doing will not last long, right? But what we're doing, because we know that we have to protect our families and protect their families, we know we're going to do right by them. So this is why Arthur is saying, like, until there's a little bit more, I would say, compliant in the world of real estate, realtors, it will get better. But for now, sometimes paying to get what you want, it makes sense for others, but that's not what you're doing. But I would like to ask you a question.
Yes.
You speak so passionately about it. You dive into it. It is your, it's who you are.
Correct.
That's never going to change.
That's right.
So does that have a lot to do with your culture?
It does. I'm not really cultural. You'd be surprised.
I don't know.
Well, you're definitely culture. You're definitely culture. I think Kim means your background.
Listen,
From your background. From your background.
From my background.
There's no love right This is what you deal with.
Yeah.
Let me tell you what my culture is. When I hear words like
In
culture,
short.
culture and society, was a subject in anthropology for me.
Okay.
Right? My mind is layered. I would think why I think what I think.
Say that
That's
again.
where my skill comes from.
All right. Hey,
I
look.
have the ability to read people
Right.
and see why they're saying, where they're coming from, and why would they say something. That is where the wisdom,
Helps-
knowledge, and
helps with
experience is.
negotiation.
Forget the culture.
PJ, helps with negotiations.
And that only comes from experience, by the way.
But
The more
PJ
people you deal with, the more you see what they do,
Fair
not
enough.
what they say.
But your upbringing has a lot to do with it. I mean, right now you're drinking coffee, and this is your probably second cup, right?
Yes.
A disclosure. We're
right?
disclosing things.
We see.
I thought expression and
No.
passion is a good thing.
Yes, it is.
It's a
Absolutely.
beautiful thing.
Yes.
But a lot of that has to do with your upbringing, of how you saw things and what you
Yes,
want to provide. That's what I meant by
yes.
that.
So-
right? Because this is what the audience is looking to know.
So-
How do I get to here? Because you could be changing someone's mind right now
Okay.
about becoming a realtor. And you can also help someone when they list a house to
Correct,
find
correct.
professionals
Right,
like us.
okay.
Right? This
So-
is what it's all about.
If I had to kind of advise somebody
Right.
about this profession in general, right? How to develop yourself.
Right.
Right. So you're in sales first of all,
Correct.
right? What is sales all about?
I'll
you
let you
have to
define-
be
right.
presentable,
Right.
put together, articulate,
Yeah.
right? All of those things have to be there.
Right.
Right? You can't just be that, I don't put any effort into myself. I go blah, blah, wherever. I don't care. If you don't take yourself seriously, nobody else will take you seriously. Rule number one.
Right.
Okay? So if you want to build a word of mouth business or a referral business, you have to think in layers. When you meet people, you have to guide them and you be a consultant, not somebody sign the listing and handing them a CMA. It's all written. Anybody can print a CMA. That's the easiest thing to do.
Right.
Right? But just imagine if somebody is selling and buying a house, they need to be confident. You are the confidence.
Right.
Okay? Are you confident about it yourself? Or are you using a script? When you use scripts, that is what industry is being taught. To use scripts when client says this, say that. Object handling. Your independent thinking goes away because you're looking for the right answer. You're not listening.
Right. Fair enough. So
People have to listen to what the consumer wants. It's not me. It's the consumer
Fair
I'm
enough.
working for. No consumer, no me. I'm only working when I'm commissioned. It's a commission business. It's not a job. And you don't understand it. People don't understand that. They think it's a job. No, it's a consultancy. People are coming to you for your advice.
fair enough. So let me ask you
Learn
this.
to give the right advice.
Ooh, drop some notes to get something. So Arthur, the bridge to getting a house is going through us, right? For most of
Right.
the world that we live in, right? You need a mortgage.
Although there is quite a bit of cash. We know there's
We're
cash.
gonna talk about
Cash
that,
does
but-
exist, right?
but-
Mortgage is a big piece of what we
mortgage
do.
is a big
Yes,
piece,
of
right?
course.
So, the 30-year mortgage was invented for many to qualify, right? Because
Yes.
during the time, someone cannot obtain an asset because they just didn't have enough cash, or there were certain instruments to
It's
get
the
them
greatest
involved.
system in the world.
The greatest system in the world.
Yep.
So today, we're speaking about how the market has shifted.
Okay.
We see rates going up and down.
Yep.
But last year, this time, rates are about the same.
Yep.
But we also, there's some tensions in the economy right now, right?
In the
Whether
world-
the
and the-
domestic
and
and
in
the
the
world,
world, of
right?
course,
I'm going to
yes.
speak to it. So, as a tactician, when it comes to numbers and defining the bond market, can you walk us through a little bit? What do you think is happening, or what will happen?
So obviously, great question. Consumer asks me that question every single day. Arthur, what do you think about rates? I don't know. If I knew, I would not be doing this. I would be
That's
retired, probably island somewhere in the Caribbean, hanging out. But I
With
know,
your toes out, right?
I know short term. Short term, I know rates are a little bit better today than they were, let's say, Friday.
Right.
Short term, it's a very small movement. But what I do know is the fact that the rates, generally speaking, forget the 3%. That does never going to exist again. When I say never, let's say 10, 15 years from now, right?
Right.
That was a bad lesson that had to be done. It was overdone. Now, consumer is so used to these 6% rates, mid sixes. Now they get kind of touchy when we get closer to 7.
Right.
But mid sixes, we're used to it right now. And we see PJ just had an open house this weekend at a everybody's favorite Edison area. Let's say there. Well, there's 40 families.
45 or 30.
45 families went through a house.
Right.
40, what does that tell you?
45.
In our market, we are still don't have enough homes, and we still have a huge demand to buy. Does that exist everywhere in New Jersey?
Right.
No. I can tell you
second.
certain
One
metros,
second.
the Philly metro is not doing as well.
Right.
But New York metro is doing better, right?
Right.
Because that's where the jobs are. So from the perspective of economy, again, we have a lot of people that still want to own that dream. Some people don't know how to get there. Some people, they know that they need to do it, but they don't do it. Education exists. I mean,
So,
as
Arthur,
PJ was saying, you don't need an agent.
So you said we don't have a lot of homes. I beg to differ. There are a lot of homes that are just sitting.
Well, if they're overpriced,
question
if
is,
they're
why?
overpriced.
Right.
That's the agent's job to find out
We are seeing
what
year
to
over
do with
year.
that.
Inventory is up year over
and
year.
why
right?
is that? Why is that? You guys don't think about it because you're in the mortgage. I'll tell you why. Okay? They're poorly presented. They're not prepared. Agent has not had the talk, right? So it's like, this house
Yeah.
sold for a million,
The asking
right? The
price-
neighbor house is a garbage dump.
Okay, but
Right?
to
The guy wants the same money. The agent is a new agent or your
Or
brother's
new-
friend or
or new
whatever,
agent,
or
yeah.
your friend's husband's wife or something,
Oh,
right?
oh,
And
wow.
this person will list your house for 2 million if you say it.
Yeah,
Because he's just happy that he's got a listing.
correct.
Dear all, she has no filter.
But isn't that what
No, but,
what it's about?
yeah,
How
yeah.
many filters you really want?
Wait. So
Look at what the filters have done to our
So-
industry.
so-
Other people have taken over.
to that
We've been
point,
sold to the highest bidder, literally.
well, if some accept it, right? But at some point too, I also feel like sometimes the client, they don't have reasonable expectations too, right? It's because it's a psychology thing, right? When you walk in and you say it's worth this, and then someone tells you it's worth more, and because that person sold a particular house in that area for more, they buy into what they can actually obtain. So I also think sometimes it's also with the end user, right? Their expectations of what they should get for their home when they list it.
Again, it's
the
the comps.
It's the comps, but
It's that, well, like if a house next door sold for X amount of dollars,
It's the agent's job to educate the client and manage their expectations and not let them stand in their own way and sabotage their own purchase.
so, but to add to what all right, let's say if that's the case, what would you say for the agent who realized when that house expires, that person, you come in and now you set realistic expectations, but they sell for over ask from the original price? What do you tell that to that person? Like, were you wrong? Were you right? It could be also timing too. There's a lot of things that dives into that, right?
So first thing first, right?
I want to be.
You have no control.
You don't. A quick message from me. If you've been listening to this podcast, you already know that I believe in one thing. Your next mortgage should start with a conversation, not an application. Everybody's financial situation is different, whether you're buying your first home, purchasing an investment property, renovating a home, planning for retirement, self-employed. It's not one size fits all. My role is to help you build the right mortgage strategy based off your goals and finances. If you're looking for education and honest advice, I invite you for a complimentary session with me. You will find the link in my show notes and episode description. Again, your next mortgage should start with a conversation, not an application. Now let's get back to the show.
None of us have any control, right? Because we're all under a much bigger economy, this, that, and there's so many variables.
Correct.
Okay, somebody asked me, I put a listing and then said, well, why didn't it sell? I said, well, the weather froze on us. I had to cancel 3 open houses.
Right.
Okay. Now the interest rates went up at the same time.
Right.
We got into a war at the same time.
Right.
Which consumer is jumping up with joy and saying, this is the correct time to buy a house. Let's go today.
Right. No, I get that.
Okay, and then the days on the market. I mean, all of these
Days
have
on,
to
yeah,
be
this,
put
that
into-
goes back to Zillow with the
all
days
of
on the
this-
market.
See, Jimmy, what I'm
You
saying.
going back to Zillow with her?
Yeah, because the days on the market
because
does not was
the
an
knowledge
indicator.
is so shallow
Right.
that people will just throw a term like days on the market, like somebody's house is a joke. Okay? It's not a joke. It's somebody's house. There are various reasons why things can take longer.
Right.
Who's going to talk about all of this?
Days on the market on Zillow.
Right?
This
Because
is what it
people are
is.
only interested in talking about what can generate them business, but nobody wants to engage the people and explain to them as to how to think about things.
You know, when this is
Even the agents don't think about it. Forget the poor consumer. He's not even reading the fine print. If I could, I could go on all day. You know that. So
yes,
I think,
that is very true. Yeah,
We're trying to
we're trying to
it's my
time
career.
constraint here. Time constraint.
Absolutely,
There's a
yes.
lot we could dive into, but this is what we're talking about, right? When we're having these conversations, it's not because we're bashing many. We're just saying like we're professionals. We're trying to execute what's asked of us, and it's not. It's on others to provide that value, continue to provide the value, continue ongoingly, right? So I ask you this question, right? As we dive deep into the economy, what do you forecast?
This
in
is
inventory?
my biggest concern is jobs,
Right.
because we are seeing a little tick in foreclosures, right? And the jobs that I've talked about when I was here, and I'm returning champion today. So last time I was here, I talked about AI, right? That is not changing in any way. So the predictions are every job will be replaced by AI. What happens to your biggest asset and your biggest debt, right? When you have, there's families that have one income, right? We have a lot of IT professionals.
There are a lot of layoffs
All
all over the place.
So what happens, because it's like it's a snowball effect, right? One person, and then there's going to be a competition. It's a race to the bottom,
Right.
And who's the buyer? That is my biggest concern, because we're at this point where people are bidding up. We're still year over year in New Jersey up 4.5% in terms of
Correct.
prices,
The
right?
prices, yeah, prices.
At least, but
And taxes.
well, taxes and the insurance. We're still seeing people move into the state versus moving out. So that's a positive. But the jobs is certainly a big conversation. What happens to housing? And that's, again, I don't know that answer. Here's what I hope. In 2000, when we had the internet, right? That created more
tech
new
boom,
jobs.
right.
This did not exist
So,
before the internet, right? So I'm hoping that
tech.
AI actually creates jobs that did not exist before, and that could help the economy
Right.
versus AI doing everybody's job, including a loan officer, lender, a real estate agent. Your clients talk to you,
nobody
right?
can do my job. I'll tell you why. Okay, so you don't
Here we
understand
go.
it. People think. So initially, when AI came, right, in the offices, they're like, whatever God has not made, I'm not going to interact with it. There is a lot of thinking like that because people
Right.
didn't understand what AI is,
Right.
right? So AI is basically your own data given back to you in a very sorted out way, right? It's only you. When I'm talking to my AI, it's reflecting my own thought.
Right. It's
Okay, it's not
brainstorming.
making it up on its own.
It's brainstorming. with
Right,
you.
it's
Sometimes
brainstorming
it
with
makes
me.
stuff up,
But
though.
if I don't,
Sometimes it does.
Sometimes it does, right?
no,
So-
no. See, it's how you control it.
Well,
Okay,
it
the
also
AI
takes
doesn't
data.
go off. You
It
can
takes
say,
data.
okay, please give me another angle, another way of looking at it. My fear is something different. My fear is all these agents, first of all, a literacy level or
Some of these agents.
some of these agents. Some
Wait,
of these
agents,
agents.
AI agents or
No,
real
no, no, no.
estate
Let
agents?
me,
Hold
let me
on.
finish
Which
my
agents are we
point.
talking about?
You know, we have agents here. Their educational qualifications are a high school. Okay, they don't even know what the A for AI is. They don't know what
But
I
you
in
don't.
AI
Do you need
is.
a college
Okay,
education
no,
to
no,
do
wait,
the?
let
you
me
don't
finish.
always
Let
need a
me
college
finish. I'm not
education for
putting
this
people
job,
down.
right?
I'm not saying I'm not a. Listen, we don't need no education is a great song. I love it. My favorite song. Okay, it's Pink Floyd. But at the
that's
same
good. Good
time,
recall. Good recall,
right?
yes.
But at the same time,
Right.
you have fear. Okay, instead of understanding.
There's definitely fear.
Okay.
Right.
What is that about? What are you fearing? Truth? Okay, you're fearing that the client knows more than you? Then it's time to brush up your knowledge. You know, you should be correcting AI.
You should.
If you are an agent and if you know what you're doing, if
Right.
you have the ability to guide people, you should be correcting AI because you have experience.
Right.
It's bad for those who have no experience and the ones who are only coming up with script. What if I go off the script? Then how will they handle me?
Right. So.
And you know, I'm dealing with I'm dealing with people who are medical professionals, doctors, engineers. You should see their GPTs. You know, you can get interviewed by that for people. What will you do? It's coming for you.
Right. So, you know.
Yeah,
you
I've had
probably-
a client do that to me.
And I'm very comfortable with it. I love it. I'm
Right.
like, bring it on.
No, and that's a fair point, right? And you know, if some are using it to help them for whatever, have at it. I use my AI as a companion to make sure what I'm saying regurgitate to me,
Fact
and then
checking,
so
things
bring
like
it back
that,
to me
yes.
because I know like my words mean plenties, and
Correct.
so I always want to make sure that I'm covering enough boundaries so nothing comes back to me. Now it's not going to always be perfect, but that's how I use my AI, right? And because the economy is changing, because at one point you had someone do some of the middle office stuff in corporate America. Now that we have AI, you may not need that person to do it.
Potentially, you hope.
Potentially,
That's
We
what.
would need-
That's the big promise right now, right?
And this is why let's talk about it.
Right.
We're painting the picture like, okay, some are making noise about it, and some are dealing with the reality. Like, you know what? Maybe we don't need as many people doing the same thing. Maybe there are things that we can, save money on, but at the same time,
would-
empower.
Again, there might be other jobs
would-
created.
we
This is
would-
what
no,
my
no,
hope
we
is.
would
There
always-
might be
Right,
jobs
That's
created.
that's what I'm going to fall back on.
We
It
would
can create other
always
jobs,
need
right?
people who can enhance something.
Right.
Imagine a person who's doing all of that. If they became fluent in AI, the creativity is boundless. Boundless.
Well,
if I sat in an office and I had to listen, if I
electricity and
had
processing
to,
power.
if I had
So
to market both of you together,
Right.
I could sit on my couch and market you all day, all night, next day, next night.
Using AI tools.
Correct.
Right.
I have so much power
So
all
this
of a
is
sudden
so
to
PJ.
create
So
things
here's
that I
what
could
you're
never
saying. You're
create
seeing
before,
younger agents,
right?
younger agents get into the industry,
Right.
and that's all they're doing. They're using socials to promote themselves.
No.
They may not know. We see this. They may not know much. That's it. Have you not noticed a younger generation of agents coming in who are actually doing better than you would expect, using socials,
Right.
using tools,
And that's a good thing
And
at
that's
times.
yeah.
At times it's a
Listen,
good thing, right?
again, but that consumer may not know the difference.
Okay, sometimes it's good and sometimes it's bad. Okay, so when I'm looking at an agent who's been in the business for 2, 3, 4, 5 years, coming on socials and saying, dressing a certain way, walking a certain way, what media did to our profession. Everybody watched
I ain't
TV
gonna
and saw all these people.
everybody is a
and you're
content
like,
creator.
dude,
You gotta be a content
cannot,
creator.
You cannot wear 6-inch heel and walk up that driveway showing a house in winter.
I mean, look.
Okay,
it's
your
gonna
clients will fire you.
I mean, give me the click. I mean,
That's not going to
This is what we've
happen.
got.
Okay,
Forget the house.
forget clicking. As long as you're looking at it for more than 3 seconds,
That's
Yes,
what it
you're
is.
bound to see
so
it
do
again.
you see they're more interested in eyelashes, hair, makeup, looks? It's not about that at all. It's
It
it's
is. This is what it is now.
No, it's
This
a
is what it
thought
is.
consultancy.
You're right. Your opinion is valid, but I will tell you this.
Don't turn us into a joke. I mean,
No,
don't.
no, no. Oh, no, no,
you
no,
know,
no, I'm
it's
not-
like-
but-
no, not
but-
you,
no,
not
no,
you.
all
I'm
sorts
just
of-
saying.
there's
don't
all
turn
sorts
the
of channels
industry
for this
into a
stuff.
joke.
I think so. The point is with AI and with basic skills, I do think if someone uses it right, they can be successful like what we're doing because we
Correct.
use
Faster.
AI faster,
Faster.
right?
See, the-
We're doing. The problem is when someone relies on something 100% and they cannot solve for it when an answer happens, they're gonna have to deal with that, and their business may take a hit for that. Where working with us three, you'll see like, oh, you know what? I saw this, but because someone with experience, we got the information fast, but because of someone experienced, this particular thing does not go down this way, right?
Right.
And so that's where, again, your education, your passion, your why fits into solving that person's equation. And the same for us. So what we're saying here at the end of the day, we consult with ourselves because we want to do well for our clients. We understand fast, we understand knowledge, we understand being fact-based. At that point, some agents will not get there, some loan officers will not get there, but we're not going to give them that attention. We just want to make sure the noise that you see sometimes out there is not what you think it is, because
There's a lot of noise.
there's a lot of noise.
There's a lot of noise.
There's just noise
It's just
sometimes.
noise. And then
Yes.
sometimes the consumption is if you go to this platform, that platform, this platform. So when some hop on, the algorithm is there to show you something that may not exist. And this is why it's important at times to get a second opinion from the PJs.
How about the
from
first opinion? How
Jimmys.
about first opinion?
Okay, so
Right.
I think what should be the first opinion, not the second
No,
opinion.
no,
Shouldn't we be the first
first
opinion?
of all, the algorithm depends on you. That's what you don't realize.
No,
Whatever you click on, whatever you focus on, more of it shows up over and over and over again.
Yeah, but some of
You
that,
want more intelligent topics? Learn to pay attention to intelligent topics. You learn by absorption.
You're right, but every now and then, like Arthur got a group chat. He'll send me something.
Right, so there's also people want entertainment.
People
You
want
just have this system, right?
entertainment.
No,
Some of it
everybody
is, right?
wants entertainment. I'm not saying that.
Right.
But it's up to you. See, you said basic skill, right?
Right.
I would just say skill and not use the word basic.
Fair
Skill
enough.
is skill. You can enhance it to the level you want.
Okay.
You can be basic or you cannot be basic. That depends on you and your curiosity levels.
Fair enough. So I'll follow up with this on this part. What does the power of relationship mean with you and your lender partner, Arthur?
Oh,
Everything. Everything. And let me explain it to
All right,
you.
here we go.
why.
Here we go.
Okay? So it's like, it's a wild, wild west out there. Okay, in terms of lending.
Right.
As you both understand.
Right.
Okay. I don't want to name companies or anything, but there are people who, will give really low rates to people, not quote low rates to people, but guess nothing is in writing.
bait and switch.
That creates a big problem, right? Because what happens is that it's a very structured business. There are steps, it's a process, okay? If one thing falls off, the whole thing can crumble.
Right.
You know how many people are involved in one transaction if you really look at you? Let me speak it out loud. One agent, two agents, two attorneys, a lender, an appraiser, a home inspector, a title company, that many people, right? Insurance companies, buyers, sellers,
Right.
and their relatives.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know, that many people in one group. You know how much advice people get
Right.
from somebody who has zero experience? You know how many people will intervene in a transaction and they mean well? They'll say, oh, no, don't worry about Arthur. Go to so-and-so, he did my friend's loan
5 years ago.
5 years ago or
So
2
that was
years
the best.
ago. Or my nephew just
Yep.
got into this thing. People are naive.
I like
Right.
it, yeah.
Some people are naive.
No, quite a
Some.
few.
So you
Quite a
can,
few, though.
Jimmy, you can keep adding some, but it's okay. I'll say the way it
Because
is. People are
think about
naive.
how many people, like, how many homes have you bought in the last 20 years, right?
Right.
How many times have you get a mortgage, right? People forget. And
People-
guidelines, underwriting changes, rules
So-
change,
so-
things change, people forget. So what's the first question they ask us? Go ahead. What's the first question?
What's the rate?
Exactly. They don't
Yeah.
even care my name is,
Yeah.
or who I work for, what I do, or who knows.
Do
Because-
you know
because-
anything?
that's a
Who are
consumer
you? Do you
training.
have a
Well,
history? Nothing.
Here's the thing, right? But it's fair to say we're conditioned to feel if we get the lower rate, we'll get the better terms.
We are the-
Wait.
Right.
Fair enough. But
Yes.
Arthur and I will make a case. That's not always true.
That's what I was
Isn't
trying
it
to
almost
do.
every time? Isn't
Right.
it?
That's
'Cause
what I'm
I
saying.
could make a case. I could say if I give you 8% for 12 years, you'll still pay off your mortgage if you had a 2.5 in 30 years. Some people may not believe that, but they have to see
Listen,
it. But
you-
they're
you-
conditioned,
listen.
they would take the lower rate. And certain things that Arthur and I do when it comes to specifics on particular products, Arthur DSCR, right? We do that, and
Some of
sometimes
those loans, sure.
some of those loans happen, right? And also we have bank statements. We have all types of things.
Correct. They're products.
They're products.
Yes.
Sometimes the rate may not be what.
That's what consumer leads in with it, right?
That's what the consumer leads in. And then Arthur and I would sit there and be like,
take it away from
and
them.
then Arthur would be like, wait, do you want the house or do you want the rate?
Right, because that's the conversation.
That's
right?
the right.
Because the rate should be at the end.
Right.
Like, hi, my name is. Like this. How about start there, right?
Right.
So this is, I mean, again, and I generalize. There's certainly nice consumers that call if they're properly referred by PJ, right?
Right.
We got a proper referral, right? So they know,
Listen,
and
so
we just
my
had this.
background
yeah.
is I'm a director general's daughter. Okay.
Okay.
I
didn't know
I
that.
talk like that.
Yeah.
military upbringing.
no,
You asked this
listen,
question.
listen,
Cultural.
You don't know. You don't
asked
know
this
third
question.
degree police treatment in India. Let's not go there
so
today.
we're
It's
bringing
not
India
a
into
great
this.
This is
topic.
not the state
Let's do
police.
another
This is not-
podcast. Yes. So you see, I will question. I'll question you. I'll question author. Ask him.
Right.
Okay. I have no hesitation. If I hear something that I think that I'm confused about, I'll say, okay, how come that? Okay, that's my job, to keep an eye on things, right? Not to micromanage,
that's a fiduciary.
but keep an
That's
eye
a
on things.
fiduciary
That's a
responsibility
fiduciary.
for the client.
When somebody comes to me and say they're going with, I won't say bank of what, but bank of this, I would say, dude, that bank works like a government office in India. Okay, you want to stand in line and keep calling and say, where is my file today? Which desk is it on? Have they not shown up to
PJ,
work today?
has there not been
I'm
times-
closing in 6 days,
There's been
and nobody knows
PJ,
where
but-
this document is. They're asking me the same document 10 times. I've sent it 10 times.
That
Don't
happens.
come crying to me
That does
because
happen.
I told you not to do it.
They tell, and
Fair enough.
there's been cases when I handed off a file, said, no, you're getting better deals somewhere else, go there, right?
Right.
Because sometimes you have to do that because that's better for the client. We question that, right? Because we still can't control, because it's usually some credit union or some other place. There's a reason why they're getting this lower number. You usually have to sell a part of your soul to go there. That's what it is. How much is the price of your soul today? And that's where you're gonna go. And that good luck. And we are the backup. I become the lender of last resort. But if it's better for the consumer, you say, look,
Guys,
I wish
they
you
send
luck, right?
pre-approvals without a credit check.
Yes, that happens.
All right. So
happens.
I rest
That
my
does
case. And I'm not the agent who's going to let that happen to my seller. Call me rude, mean, whatever you want. I'm fine with it. I'm not here to be liked. But I'll tell you, you have this lender. You've got I'm not going to name names because I don't want to get in trouble. I would say, okay, I need a different pre-approval. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you can ask for. You can always ask for backup.
I'm the listing
Right,
agent.
right.
My client would like to see a thing
Yep.
because you just went online, applied somewhere. You have no idea where they're based, where the processing will be.
And that's another
I'm
one.
in New Jersey.
So,
Do they understand what New Jersey is
while
all about?
we're throwing dirt at Zillow, can we throw dirt at bankrate.com?
Listen, there's so many people. We should
It's a marketing website.
we
Those
should
rates are
name
not
the
real.
chips to- let's talk about it too. Let's throw
We can
dirt.
talk about it until the end of this.
Wait,
PJ, you did this to yourself. I mean, you did this to yourself.
I did this
too.
myself.
You did this to yourself.
I mentioned-
but the quality is there.
the quality. So is it? So
See, people don't understand any of this.
No, well,
right? They're so
Every
generic.
single day.
So it's like quality versus quantity.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
So-
quality nobody wants to touch because that might be too expensive.
Yep.
right, but
Okay. Let's go to dollar store then.
right, and look, we get it. There are times people are distracted because of the noise. I'm happy there are many of us professions that try to get ahead of it.
Exactly.
And so what we're talking about is if you see something and you just don't believe it, just get a second or third opinion. And it's okay to ask questions. And if you're using your chat, that's also helpful too. But because we know what we're talking about, we know we can give you value answers to make you feel comfortable. Because remember, this is an asset. Either if you're refinancing it, if you're purchasing it,
It's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money. And sometimes you can't recover when you take a loss like that. And it's our responsibility. Shows like Let's Talk About It. It's professionals like Arthur, professionals like PJ. We just ask you, like, look, we know the noise is the noise, but there are real professionals out here that will go through the process with you and make you feel comfortable
Look
with
out
it.
for the borrower,
See,
for
look out
the
for the
consumer, for the seller.
Right.
That's what you want to be doing.
And then to your point, why you have certain partners that you would dedicate more time to because of what you see at the end
It's
of it, right?
correct.
You
It's
see
a
that
partnership,
energy,
right. It has to
energy
work
is like
both
the
ways.
PJ,
It has to work both ways, of
right?
course.
So I will ask you that question, Arthur. How important partners are for you?
Well, I mean, this is my entire business is built on that, right? So I do not advertise. I mean, there's some advertising that I do, but effectively my business is built by being in-house lender for the largest real estate company
You have a
in the
billboard,
country.
Arthur, don't lie.
Well, that's different. That's not my
Where's
fault.
that billboard again?
We don't know.
Wait. Let's talk about it.
Please tell them where is your billboard.
Where's the
Please
billboard,
tell them.
Arthur? People got
Please,
people
please,
got
where's
to
your
see.
billboard?
I believe the billboard.
Yeah, I believe-
I
believe
believe.
the billboard.
I believe the billboard is on Route 27 in Edison by Menlo Park, isn't
Clap,
that there?
clap.
Yes.
Arthur
But it is.
remembers,
Right,
yes.
but what does that? But what does that mean? That is
Arthur has
just
a billboard without selling his soul.
We talked about the fact of how long it takes to kind of get your name out there.
Right.
We think now you have to have your name out there 27 different times.
Right.
So any exposure that you can get, including conversations like these, right? So why do we do this? We want our name out there. We want things to be known, but we also want to show that we do great things for people, right? So it's not just, oh, billboard. Who cares?
See, people
Just drive
don't know
by.
people like us exist,
Right.
right? So if we don't put ourselves out there, you won't know the damn difference between experience and inexperience.
So partnership is huge. I mean, this is I support people that want to support me, right?
Yes.
Fair enough.
You have, because then I can go above and beyond for those people.
Yes.
When there's a phone call at 10:30 p.m. on a Saturday night, and if I'm
And-
around, I'll
and
answer and
mind
help
you, that's
out.
not buying business, by the way, right? He
Right.
can't buy my business, even if he tries. I can't buy his business,
Okay.
right? It's respect, mutual respect, and respect towards his professionalism. And I know that once my client is with him, he's going to get the right guidance regardless.
That's awesome. So
Okay.
on that note, if
Yeah.
someone's looking for you, where can they find you?
Oh boy, everywhere.
Well, I'm on Facebook, but it would
Share
be
your
under my
handles.
first name, Parijata, Sharma. And Sharma is going to be with 2 R's because, I'm Indian, so I'm really numerologically have to be correct.
Okay.
So you would put our handles on
Arthur,
the
if
thing.
someone's
So
looking for you,
please look
would-
at the handle.
Okay.
Please connect with us whichever way you want. But you should know what you're signing up for. You want to hear what we have to say because we're not into people pleasing business. You don't have to like me. My job is to make sure that I get you the best for your property. If that's not what you want, I may not be the right fit for you.
There you go. Arthur, someone's looking for you. Where can they find you?
So Arthur Kautsky, Guaranteed Rate Affinity.
Right.
My number is 732-423-3301. I'm easily Googleable. I exist on Facebook.
Okay.
I believe I exist on LinkedIn.
Okay.
I have reviews all over the place. So I do good things for people. And again, the goal is to, I live in the motto of long-term referral, long-term trust versus transactional, which is how we started this, which is how, where the Z word came. I don't want to be transactional. I want to be a business partner and I want to help the clients because clients find me from years ago.
Correct.
That I did something good for them years ago. And I don't remember, but I remember them when they call me back. And that feels really good. That's what we're here for.
So one great thing, Arthur and I are now our next generation. We're selling houses to people's children who are
that's
So
true.
you see, we work with their parents. Now we are actually handling the children also.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you see, this is relationship-based business and
Absolutely.
trust-based business, right?
So when it comes to all real estate needs, when it comes to lending, us, Arthur and I, when it comes to a realtor who has all the energy in the world, and
Yes.
it's not a
You
people
need a lot of
pleaser,
energy in this profession, by the way.
you can find PJ. So again, thank you all for hopping on Let's Talk About It. I'm on your favorite streaming platform. Let's Talk About It with Jimmy. Thank you guys for coming
Very
on
good.
this
Thank you,
podcast.
Jimmy. Thank you, PJ.
Thank you.
Namaste, Jimmy.
Hey listeners, are you looking to improve your home comfort and save on your energy bills? Let's talk about Seal Power. They've been awarded Energy Star Sustained Excellence Award seen on Good Morning America, the New York Times, and World News. Seal Power is dedicated to keeping your home cozy while saving money. Check out their website for tips and incentives and more at CIELPOWER.com. Stay comfortable and save with Seal Power, where comfort meets efficiency. Follow them on Instagram for updates and more, and Let's Talk About It as well. Thank you.